Hi, I'm Daniel with Eat, Move, Groove, and today I have a short yoga sequence for us that is designed to help take up space. So if you're watching this video in real time and you're in the Northern Hemisphere, we are quickly approaching winter. During winter, we lose a lot of our hours of daylight. The air starts to get colder and the skies get grayer, and all of these things sort of combine to make us retreat inward, right? Our natural reaction is sort of to recoil away from the elements. So this sequence is designed to help us sort of open back up, let the lungs open, and release some of that stagnant energy that accumulates during the colder winter months. All you need in order to do this sequence is enough room to roll out a yoga mat. So go ahead and do that first. Grab a sip of water, and then we'll get started. All right, so for this yoga sequence, we're actually going to start standing. So go ahead and bring your feet a little bit wider than hips distance, toes facing forward. And then we'll take the hands to the hips, roll the shoulders back and down. Tucking the tailbone down and back, lifting up through the chest, but still keeping the lower ribs tucked in. So we have a sort of nice straight line from the base of the pelvis all the way up through the crown of the head. You might lift your chin here slightly as we start to deepen our breathing. And this is our first sort of our power pose, our superhero pose, standing nice and strong. Good. From here, we're actually going to widen our stance just a little bit more. So go ahead and step those feet a little bit wider apart. Toes are still facing forward. And now we're going to reach with the arms sort of to four corners here, making an X with the body. Coming into our star pose. Now we're really taking up space here. So sort of try to press down into the feet, especially out through the outer edge of the feet. Reach through the fingertips. Really try to take up some space here. Tailbone still tucked down and back. Chest is still lifted. Try to bring some attention back to your shoulders. Instead of crunching them up toward the ears here, really try to roll them down and back, even as we reach through the arms. Good. And as always, nice deep breaths here. Good. Excellent. Reach a little bit farther with those fingers, pressing into the sides of the feet. Really take up some space. Take a nice deep breath in. And exhale to let that all go. Whew, shake it out, and then we'll step it back in. Step our feet back in about hips distance here. We're going to take our fingers now and interlace them, and then we're going to bring the fingers behind the back of the head. Elbows out wide. So now we're going to take a couple circles here. So we'll take our left elbow up toward the sky. Right elbow is going to come down to the side. And we're going to sort of go for a little journey here. So if you bend your knees now, we can crunch down and forward. Think cat pose, rounding through the back. Down, around to the side. And then we're going to inhale to come back up. Slight back bend at the top. Good. Exhale to come down and around, bend the knees. Nice big circle. And then inhale as we come up around the other side. Good, right to the top. We're going to go the opposite direction now. So exhale to come down. Rounding through the back, bend the knees. Down to the other side. Inhale to come up. Really extend through that side body. Good, one more. Exhale to come down. And around. Inhale to extend back up toward the top. Nice job. All right, listen carefully. We're going to come down one more time, same direction. So bend the knees, drop the elbow, coming down. And once you get to the bottom, go ahead and release the fingers, bend the knees, coming down into our forward fold. So fingers toward the earth. If they don't touch, that's totally fine. Go ahead and bend your knees as much as you need to here. You can let the head hang and the lower back release
as we take a few more deep breaths. We're actually going to step back from forward fold into tabletop. So I'm going to turn so y'all can see me. Good. From our forward fold, we'll go ahead and take a nice deep breath in to come up halfway. Fingers can trace over the thighs. Nice flat back position. And then exhale, bend the knees. Fingertips come down to the mat. We'll step one foot back and then the other. And coming down to tabletop position. Nice job. Let's go ahead and take a couple cat-cows here. So we can inhale to drop the lower ribs down toward the mat for our cow. And then exhale to round through the upper back, doing through the upper body. Good. Inhale, drop the ribs down for cow. Exhale to round up into cat. Good. And go ahead, bring it back to neutral. All right, from here, tabletop position, we're going to take our left leg and step it up into a low lunge. So go ahead and shift the fingers to the side, step that foot up, and then we'll press up into a low lunge. We've got about a 90-degree angle in the front knee and the back knee. Ah, nice. Even in this position, just like when we were standing, we want to tuck the tailbone down, open up through the hip flexor in front. You might feel a stretch here right away, just in this position. Next, we're going to go into my favorite yoga pose of all time. This is gate pose, and I love it, and you're going to see why. So we're going to take our back right toes, and we're actually going to swivel them out toward the left side of the mat. And this might be where you stay today and work, right? So sort of a modified warrior two. We can extend through the fingertips, front and back. Try to find your center of gravity and bring that pelvis, chest, and crown of the head right over that back knee. And this might be where you work today. Dropping the shoulders down the back body, extending through the fingertips. Right? Or we might come a little bit farther today. So if we hinge at that bottom hip to bring the fingertips down, we'll continue the journey toward the back of the mat. Right hand's going to come down to the ground to support us, or to a block, right? So if you need to bring the ground up to you today, that's definitely an option. Hand directly underneath the shoulder. Our left leg is going to extend out, and we'll bend at the ankle to bring those toes toward the front of the mat. And then our top arm is going to come up and over and reach toward that opposite wall. And now you should feel why this is my favorite pose. It's a wonderful stretch through the side body, deep into those intercostal muscles that are sometimes really hard to hit. Good. And once we're here, we'll take a few more deep breaths. You can experiment with bringing the ground up to you using the block felt great. Now I'm going to try to bring the palm down to the ground and get a little bit of a deeper stretch. Good. Definitely taking up space now and opening up the side of the body. Take one more deep breath in here, and then we'll exhale to go ahead and let that release, hinging back at that bottom hip to walk the fingers back around all the way to our low lunge. So we'll swivel those back toes to center. From here, you can just step that left foot back to tabletop, and then we'll just go right to the opposite side. Right foot's going to come forward, pressing up into our low lunge. Whew. Opening up through the hip flexor on the opposite side now. Tailbone's tucked. Good, we'll take a deep breath here. And then just like we did on the opposite side, we're going to take those back toes and bring them, swivel them out to the back side of the mat. Now, backside from my perspective. You might work here and just take your modified warrior two position, extending through those fingertips. Okay.
Or we might continue the journey, hinging at the hip, walking those fingers out to the side. Left arm's going to come down now. Top leg's going to extend, placing the sole of the foot down. Top arm's going to come up and over and reach and open through the side of the body. And breathe. Excellent. Take one more deep breath in here as you reach those fingertips just a little bit farther, opening up through the side of the body. And then exhale to go ahead, let it come back to center. We'll walk the fingers back around to our low lunge. We'll take that front leg, send it back to tabletop position. From here, we are going to flip it around to a seat. So go ahead and bring those legs down and around just a comfortable seat of your choice. You can cross those legs in front. I'm going to take one hand down to the mat and just take a simple seated side stretch. So bring that opposite arm up and across. Okay, bending at that bottom arm elbow to sort of find some dynamic movement here. Good. You might drop the top shoulder down slightly to feel a stretch through wrapping around through the mid-back. And then go ahead and open that chest up toward the sky. Reach through the top fingers. Take a nice deep breath in. And then exhale, let it come back to center. We'll go right to the opposite side. So drop that opposite hand down, bending at that bottom elbow to find dynamic movement in our seated side stretch. Good. Breathe into your stretch. Find some rotational, small dynamic movement here. Drop that shoulder down to sort of bring that stretch back and around the mid-back. And then open up through the chest. Good. Nice deep breath on this side. And exhale back to center. Good. Excellent job. Let's go ahead and flip it around and come down to our backs. To end this short little sequence, I'm going to come down my favorite little way, which is to point the fingers through, roll the shoulders back, and roll back one vertebrae at a time, engaging the core, coming down with control, and then go ahead, let those hands just drop down comfortably to the side. This is another wonderful pose that we don't normally think of as a pose where you get to take up space, but you totally can if we bring our heels as wide as the mat. You can let your toes sort of spill off to the side and relax. Nice deep breaths here. Sometimes you look around and it's 5 p.m. and you realize the sun's already gone down, and sometimes in those moments, all you maybe need is to just lay down on the floor, take a few breaths, take up some space, feel the earth underneath your body, and feel supported. Then you can sort of regroup and tackle the rest of the evening. Thank you so much for coming and practicing with me again today. Take another deep breath here as we close out the practice. From here, go ahead and grab another sip of water, find a healthy snack, and I will see you next time. Take care.